What's up, everybody? My name is Splattercat, and welcome to the next episode of our Shadowrun Returns LP. I hope you guys have been enjoying it, and where we had left off, we had brought Coyote back to our new secret lair, which Mrs. Kubota had given us, and now she's asking us for a favor, so we're gonna go talk to her about the favor, but we got a little bit of conversationalism to do here. Let me make sure that everything's squared away. You don't really need to do any of the talks over here because these are all just weapons dealers. Everything's fine there. Let's talk to the doctor, make sure everything's cool with the operation. Her old arm is laying there on the table. That's lovely. God, don't biomed bag that or anything, or biohazard bag that. In Shadowrunner circles, the term doctor is often used quite liberally to describe any sawbones with a needle and thread, but in the case of the Union's resident medical expert, nothing could be further from the truth. The safe house boasts a fully equipped medical suite complete with shamanic fetishes. This is sixth world medicine of the highest caliber. The doctor herself is an unassuming sort, perhaps the type to go unnoticed entirely if not for the sprightly spirit perched upon her shoulder like her own personal gargoyle. The spirit's burning eyes follow you constantly, even as the doctor's own eyes are buried in her charts. However, she does not look up long enough to acknowledge your approach. I'm Dr. Castle. I understand you were instrumental in bringing Coyote back to us. Thank you for that. And I suppose you're the one who patched her up. Impressive work. Thank you. It's a shame she wouldn't let me repair her face, though. She notes you eyeballing the facilities. I can tell you're surprised to find a full-service medbay under a dive bar in a slum. Don't be. This is a Shadowrunner bar, after all. For a purveyor of cyberware and trauma kits, there is no better place to set up a practice. I patch runners up, install and maintain their cyberware, and provide medical supplies for their runs. I may not be as mobile as Dockwagon, but I'm the next best thing. Can I help you with anything? Let's see here. Well, we can buy cyberware, so let's take a look at cyberware. Now, in Shadowrun, cyberware is one of those cool things where you can have body parts removed and have them replaced with cooler parts. So I can have my eyes taken out, and so they'll put in robotic eyes. Those used to be called cyber eyes, as I recall, but they appear to have changed the name on me. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but anyways. I could have those installed right now. Now, there is a cost. You see this down here? It says essence. It costs me 1 essence to replace my eyes. Now, every meat part of your body that you replace with machinery means you lose essence. You become less human. You become more robot. Well, what's the problem with that? The more robot you are, the less you can connect with the spirit world, which means you suck at casting spells. Now, because we are Deckers, that doesn't really matter. We're technologically based anyway, so you would expect a gunslinging Decker to just be cybered out like crazy. But for the time being, I'm not going to buy anything. There's all kinds of cool stuff. We can get our bones laced with plastic. We can get dermal plating. We can just do all kinds of fun stuff. You can get, well, in older iterations of Shadowrun, you could actually get yourself claws that would come out from underneath your fingernails. You could get big old Wolverine-type claws from the back of your hands. Just all kinds of cool stuff installed. We can buy medical supplies here, which I think I will do. They have everything from just the amazing res kits here. We have some of the weak ones, which restore people with 25% of health, but we need med kits, so I'm actually going to spend a little bit of cash here, buying 2 med kits. So there we are, and it'll put 1 in my inventory. I'd organize these a little better, but you know, what can you do? We'll go ahead and confirm there, and then we will walk away. Let's ask her about the thing on her shoulder. What's that on your shoulder? The little guy supports the healing rituals I perform on my patients after surgery, dramatically reducing their recovery time. Not standard procedure, of course, but the results speak for themselves. Yikes. Well, how much easier would the world be to deal with if you could just summon little demons and things to make your whole life easier? That'd be amazing. You're back. I think the highlights of the Wolves game are going to be on soon. Want to take a load off and watch with me? Actually, no. Can I leave this conversation? I don't want to talk to you right now. I want to cancel this. Did Sam have a sister? Her brow furrows. Yeah, I think he did. He mentioned her once. It didn't sound like they got along that well. Your comlink chips and a screen shows the smiling face of Officer Aguirre. If he's smiling, it must be about money. Officer Aguirre, what a pleasure to hear from you. Yeah, we're buddies. Let's go dancing soon. Listen, the Ripper got another one. The victim worked at the NTSB investigation facility down on the docks. You owe me for this one. Put it on my tab. You there now? Better get here quick before McCluskey arrives. The image on your PDA dissolves as the call ends. Another Ripper murder? Where? The docks. I gotta go. Okay, listen, I want to help. You dragged me out of the Royale before something bad happened. Worse than getting my arm torn off. And Sam was my friend. You head to the docks and I'll see if I can track down Sam's sister Jessica. She might be able to help us. Alright, I'll see you when I get back. So our contact came in, which is a good thing actually. I have no idea if that still would have happened. My guess is it probably still would have happened somehow even if we hadn't bribed him. But, you know, it's cool. Let's go talk to Mr. Delilah, and we're gonna settle Coyote's debt once and for all. Mr. Delilah looks small and tough, with an untraceable shoddy on his back and a heavy vest under his trench coat. He's got the air of someone who gets things done and occasionally does them himself. He might be an ex-runner, one of those rare ones smart enough to make the move over to management when he felt his reflexes slowing down. What do you want? You Delilah? Yeah, what's it to you, asshole? Can't you see I'm busy here? You sent Coyote to get you something. We've got it. At the mention of Coyote, he finally gives you his full attention. Wow, why didn't you say so? Coyote's late and my client is getting anxious. Where is she? She's downstairs trying on a new arm. The run went south for her. No kidding. Huh. Well, whatever. She's tough. She'll pull through. So who are you two? The guys that got your goods, what difference does it make? We can say Coyote's boyfriend Paco, I'm Splattercat. Yeah, we'll just keep it simple. Splattercat and he's Paco. Great, now we're all introduced. Now give me my stones. We can hold back the best stone and give him the rest. We can hold back the pebble with the runes on it and give him the rest. Or we can just give him all the stones. I don't know what he'll do to Coyote if she doesn't come through, and since Paco is on our good side right now, and she's doing a favor for us, let's go ahead and we're going to be on the up and up for now. We don't want to use people who are actually on our side, or at least attempting to be on our side for the time being. In an instant, there's a jeweler's scope in his eye. It's called a loop. I only know that because I had to go shopping once for diamond-related accessories, but moving quickly through what appear to be the most valuable stones, he stops when he finds what appears to be an ordinary pebble inscribed with Hebrew characters. That's the one. He pockets it. Alright, you done good. But you're late, and Coyote knows that in this case, late equals no payment. But I'm feeling magnanimous tonight, so you guys can keep the rest of the gems as your reward. Deal. I'll take it. Mr. Delilah looks you up and down and takes you all in. Listen, you look like the sort of man who might run a crew of your own one day. Might need a little talent. When and if that happens, you come to me and I'll set you up. He dismisses you with a wave, so he's gonna be our huckleberry when it comes to finding other Shadowrunners. Looks like you impressed him. I no offense for those gems. Van Gass. Let's go. I thought his name was Van Grass. Maybe I missed the R. Follow me. Either it's a typo or I horribly mispronounced his name in the last episode. We'll find out here. Yeah, Van Grass, it's a typo. Van Grass is fiddling with his cyber eye while noodling on his PDA. You're back. Still busy. What's your story? We need to fence some stones. You the right guy? Stones? I don't know. I might be. Let me see him. You hear the servos in Van Grass's cyber eye whir as a magnifying lens slips into position. He bends his head over the stones for 2 seconds, maybe less. Huh. Where'd you get this dreck? A gumball machine? I'll give you 1,000 for him. Now, we don't have any of the abilities here, but we can threaten him, we could be charismatic and try and haggle, or we could use etiquette academic to ask about the software appraising the stones. I don't know where that line of reasoning would work, but we have no other option but to say, sounds good, pay me. So, there's 1,000 more credits for us to whittle away on beer and booze and drugs and whatever horrible substances we decide to imbibe. Also guns, so that we can get high and kill people. I saw that Van Grass back here, it wants me to go out this way? Okay. I saw Van Grass had a gold dialogue up here, which means he has a potential run for us. Let's see if we can get that job locked down. I want to make sure we got everything on the books before... Oh, we're done for now. Okay, whatever. Maybe that just means he's a storyline character. Who knows? Let's go ahead and head on out then. We will step through the front door and we will be on our way. Got a murder investigation to do. So off to South Seattle we go. The South Seattle docks. Leaving the Seamstress Union behind, you head to the docks. The Ripper killed Sam, and maybe he or she slipped up with his latest victim. Left some useful evidence, and there's only one way to find out. South Seattle's your typical industrial area, grit, grime, and gray. The rain doesn't help matters any. Layers of dirt mixed with abandoned wood pallets, repurposed into makeshift furniture for the day workers. Garbage collects in the gutters of the broken down street. Disreputable is this district's middle name. Your destination, the National Transportation Safety Board warehouse, is located on a small strip of dock towards the less maintained end of the waterfront. Despite the presence of those who linger in such places, it's quiet as you approach the gate. Alrighty, so let's have a little look-see here. See a couple people ready for chatter. Nothing down that way but a little Vespa. Looks like everything's about fenced off. Nobody really has anything to say but the hooker. Let's go ahead and see what happens when we approach the gate here. I have a feeling I know how this is going to play out, but Lone Star Guard. The guard looks bored. He toys with his gun absent-mindedly like he might shoot something on a whim just to watch it die. Hey, you're about to trespass on corporate property. You looking to get dusted, street scum? I'm working with... We can say we're the new maintenance guy. We can say we're looking for a kitty cat. Or we can say we're working with Lone Star on the crime scene. I'm going to go with the maintenance guy. Sure you are. And I'm Lawfweir, the king of dragons. Beat it. Alright, so there it is. We weren't very successful at talking our way through, but it is what it is. Let's send the hooker over to bug him. Hey, you looking for a good time? Not me, a friend of mine. I need you to have some fun with the guard by the fence around the corner. She looks at you knowingly. Alright, $20 buys you a 5-minute distraction. Then I've got to get back to work and earn some real new yen. Okay, so do your thing, and I hope you have small hands with those chain links, because you never know. Now, oh, that just lit up right there. So we have the ladder. Let's grab the ladder, and we're going to use that to hop on over the fence here. Who raised you, a pack of wolves? That there ladder is rightfully mine. I could use your intestines as rope instead. You can have it. I didn't mean nothing. That's right, it's just a ladder, man. It's going like 5 feet from you. Calm down before I beat you to death. Let's do this thing. I got guns, man. I've got guns, and I'm a shoebie. In case you guys didn't know, in the US, if you live near like a lake area or you live near the ocean, a shoebie is somebody that wears socks with shoes when they go to the beach. I'm sorry, socks with sandals when they go to the beach. So we got 3 karma for jumping the fence. Let's take a look. We've got 8 karma on hand, which is good. So I'm going to level up my decking to 5. So down we go to the intelligence bracket here. And level 5 decking, we can get a Fuchi Virtua X. Cool. I don't see Mitsuhama anywhere, actually. They're the only corporation that I haven't seen show up. We've got Sony over here. We've got Renraku. We've got Fuchi. We've also got Fairlight, but no Mitsuhama thus far. The only ones that I've missed. And they were my favorite corporation, too. Kind of like siding with the underdog, if I remember correctly. Taking a look around, our line of sight is not so amazing right now, but we should be able to scope out anything of use. Just stand still for a moment. One of the things that's a bit of a downer is you can't see anything that can be looted while you're moving. So you gotta kind of stand still for a moment every single time you want to check things out. Oh, and there we go. So we got a couple of chests over here next to this little helicopter. And it's a phosphorus grenade. Sure, send the phosphorus grenade to our stash. So I guess that puts a non-accessible area on the ground. It gives you an AoE that starts dealing damage to whoever stands in it. Good for flushing people out or closing down doors. And a Facchetti concussion grenade. Facchetti's basic non-lethal grenade does -1 AP to everyone hit by the blast. Send that to the stash as well. Actually, let's swap out one of our other grenades. We'll swap that one for it. There we go. And so the other grenade should, as far as I know, go to our stash. Hopefully we didn't just leave one of our explosives, our fragmentation grenades, on the ground, because that'd be a bit of a letdown, but we'll check the stash when we get back home. Let's jump on into the Transit Authorities building here, and we're about to transition to a new location. Of course we would like to continue. See what we have to offer. The warehouse. Inside the large gray warehouse, it is as typical as it is on the outside. High ceilings adorned with girders and rickety catwalks top a huge utilitarian room. Concrete and steel walls make a concrete floor, or meet a concrete floor. This is a place for storing things and nothing more. Despite the quiet on the outside, the inside is a hornet's nest of Lone Star officers going about their business. In the center of the activity is the Emerald City Ripper's latest victim. With uniforms everywhere, no one stops you at the door. It seems this case hasn't leaked to the press yet. Lone Star or no, you've got a job to do. Let's run in the shadows. Come on, Woogie. You be the distraction. You shoot somebody. I'll run off the other way. So, Officer Aguirre, let's see what he's got to say, since he called us here. Oh, there we go. He's having trouble clicking him there for a second. Took your sweet time, didn't you? Well, you know traffic these days. Fill me in. We had to go over the evidence while you were en route. Turns out this might not be a Ripper murder after all. I left the computer on in the office over there if you want to see for yourself. The victim worked here at the NTSB warehouse as a black box researcher. NTSB? The National Transportation Safety Board. This warehouse is used to go over the wreckage from plane crashes to try and determine what happened. The Vic was in charge of the highest priority investigation at the moment. We've gone through the victim's computer, and his case notes indicate he was selling secrets. The idiot kept records. Yeah, well, scientists don't necessarily make good criminals. Tell me about it. Some rummer like you probably offed him to cover up his corp master's involvement and then tried to make it look like a Ripper killing. Here's the office key. Check it out for yourself if you want. Alrighty then. Let's go ahead and run through the door over here. Take a quick look. And once we've got this all nice and loaded for... Well, it looks like we've got 2 investigative spots. So let's take a look at the computer first and foremost, since we know we've got to check things out over here. The researcher's work, Cyber Terminal, has been left on, presumably by the Lone Star investigators. Case notes for number 95. Case file number 95, Federated Boeing Jetliner ID number 2305, corporate owner Ares. Ares is a weapon manufacturer, just so you know. The plane had several mechanical issues resulting in a mayday at 3:04 a.m. on June 17th. The pilot reported that the altimeter was reading in the negative values. At 2:49 a.m., the co-pilot takes over controls as the pilot leaves the cabin to investigate the rear of the plane. 2:58 a.m., the pilot cannot be contacted or located by a plane steward. The co-pilot radios in a mayday. The plane crashes into an empty field at 3:12 a.m. in western North Dakota. Case 96. Case file number 96, Pratt & Whitney unmanned. Identification number 327, owned also by Ares. Summary and logs are redacted. Let's look at private number 98. The file has been corrupted. Well, it looks like there's private notes. The notes that appear on screen pertain to NTSB case number 96, the crash of an Ares jetliner near UCAS and the Sioux Nation border. The UCAS is later on, like 50 years from now, California secedes from the Union in the United States, and there's a giant war, and California ends up holding their land, and so California is its own country, and that's what the UCAS is. It's the United Californian Association of States, I think, and it borders with the Sioux Nation, which, if I remember correctly, is to the north? It's been a long time. I haven't looked at the lore books in quite a while, but anyways, the crash is reportedly the result of an equipment failure. Reading further into the investigator's notes, however, you find substantial evidence linking the crash to an experimental Renraku research initiative. This information could be worth a great deal to the right buyer. You download the researcher's notes to your PDA. Lovely. We're going to be opportunists and sell those to the highest bidder because I love the lovely clink of Nuyen as it enters my cred stick. Let's check this other spot here and see what it's got for us. This appears to be the victim's locker. The door is slightly ajar. Inside you see several of the dead man's personal items. We inspect a toothbrush. The blue toothbrush is still wet from being used. It smells of mint and cigarettes. Inspect a comb. The comb is black plastic and has some wiry gray hairs stuck in it. Well, I guess not for right now. Let's go ahead and check another spot. We'll go talk to Dresden and some of the other investigators. And it looks like we've got Shannon Halfsky. She's got a Native American name. Native Americans in Shadowrun always have a first name, and then the second name is always something like Halfsky, Two-Hawk, something of that nature. It's just tradition in Shadowrun. Splattercat, I'm surprised to see you here. Let me guess, Officer Aguirre tipped you off. Suppose you must have made an impression on him at the market yesterday. Out of your cred stick did. He chuckles. Anyways, surprise, surprise, we've got another Ripper victim on our hands. Looks like business is good for Dylamorg, eh? Or we can say, what's the story? Or we can say it looks like he's been putting in overtime. Let's make a joke. Ha! Yeah, indeed. The victim's male, mixed Native American descent, age 38. Based on the condition of the body, looks like he was killed around 2 in the morning. Cause of death? Unknown. Several internal organs were removed by his body after death, quite gruesomely. I'm not sure if the killer even knew what they wanted before they started cutting. Not much else to tell yet, really. He does have a lot of pre-existing scar tissue, so he probably had a major surgery at some point in recent history. Unfortunately, with the organs gone, I can't determine the nature of the surgery. Any idea which organ the Ripper wanted this time? Well, the killer definitely took the lungs. The more I look at it, though, the other missing organs may just be eviscerated within the chest cavity. Is McCluskey getting any closer to a suspect? McCluskey couldn't find his ass without both hands. Don't tell him I said that, though. How's Officer Aguirre doing on this case? He seems like a real go-getter. Aguirre would love to solve it before McCluskey and get his gold detective's shield. Plus, he'd love to see McCluskey suck it in front of his superiors. He's already tried to bribe me to keep information from McCluskey and slip it to him. I'm inspired by their tireless pursuit of justice, obviously. Did you take the money? He grins from ear to ear. Do you have any idea how much this job pays these days, sir? I don't think Aguirre's officer's salary is going to do much to seduce me into helping him. Sounds like the Ripper is taking a different trophy from each victim. Sam's liver, this guy's lungs. You got any theories for me? Sorry, I don't do theories. I'm just a scientist who happens to prefer dead people. However, while there was massive damage to the chest cavity, I could see the victim's lungs were transplants, which is interesting, since another victim's missing heart was also a transplant. Granted, modern medicine has made organ transplants relatively easy, but it is an odd coincidence. But as a scientist, it's just that, a coincidence. He said that somebody got their heart stolen. That's interesting to note. I don't remember if that was Sam or not, but in a previous Shadowrun game, there was a badass Shadowrunner who had a very, very special heart. And if that comes up later, I'm going to pee myself with enjoyment. This is only the third body I've personally examined. One of our other branch managers handled the other two. If I find that more of the victims had organ transplants, I'll let you know. Who's that lady over there? Not a clue. She just showed up next to Kin, I think. So we say we're going to take a look around. He says, best luck out there. So let's talk to Shannon Halfsky and see how this goes. You're not a cop. She looks up, watching you warily. I'm independent. What's your relationship to the dead man? The suspicion in her voice and eyes departs almost instantly when the subject turns to the deceased. He's my brother. I've been trying to speak with him, but I'm afraid his spirit is too disoriented by his recent journey to answer me. You're a shaman? Yeah, for all the good that it's doing me. If I could just make contact, I might be able to deliver justice and follow my brother's spirit to rest. There's gotta be a way to force him to talk. A spirit is but an echo, and my brother is in a very fragile state. Her brow then furrows with a sudden thought. She closes her eyes and concentrates, droning a low chant that you can barely hear. My brother's spirit may not be alone with us here this night. Yes, there are others. Other spirits who may be ready to help. Her features harden in frustration as if she's searching for something that remains elusive. Sighing, she opens her eyes and fixes you with a stare. I can't do this alone. What do you need? This warehouse contains the spirits of plane crash victims trapped between the worlds. They wish to help. They wish to be heard, and I think they have something to say about my brother's murder. Lone Star won't let me be in here, but you seem to have run of the place. If you can find personal items that belong to victims, I believe I could summon a spirit to speak with us. I'll need at least 2 such objects. Can you find them for me? I'll do what I can. I'm not gonna, bend her over a barrel there to pay me over this whole thing. That's a bad idea in the greater scheme of things, considering she has a direct link to our case. The door is locked, but you might be able to bypass it if you could get under the maintenance panel. I don't know if we have time for that right now. Let's take a look. There's a big old room down and in here. Let's take a look around the warehouse. Maybe getting into there won't be so bad. Hopefully nothing attacks me. I'm girded only in a 1980s shirt, a aloha shirt, shorts, and some shoebies, so we're not really equipped for wear. Looks like we've got a pile of something over here. There's a large pile of old shoes on the ground next to the airplane seats. They could be discarded luggage, or possibly the shoes worn by the occupants of the plane at the time of crash. That's pretty dark. We'll dig through the shoe pile. Sorting through the shoes, you realize there are 3 shoes with no matching pair. A left blue sneaker, a right red high heel pump, and a left black dress shoe. We'll inspect the dress shoe. The dress shoe is a black lace-up with a rubber sole. What about the pump? The pump is a department store knockoff of an Italian brand. It's otherwise unremarkable. What about the sneaker? The sneaker is a child's and has a musty, sweaty smell. What are we sniffing it? We were sifting through, not sniffing it. Wow. I gave that command at no time. Oddly, you get a sort of shock as if from static electricity when you touch it. This must be one of the items the shaman was looking for. You stash it away. Anything else here? A big old pile of refuse? Let's take a look at that. It's hard to say whether this is a heap of items and refuse recovered from a plane crash or simply trash that hasn't been taken out yet. We'll dig through it, unfortunately. A sticky substance of some sort seems to have seeped through the trash pile, and your hands are quickly covered with the stuff. After searching for a minute, you unearth a handful of interesting items. There's an earring, so let's look at that. The earring is made out of burnished steel formed into the shape of a small salmon. An intense primal fear washes over you as you touch its surface. This must be one of the items the shaman was looking for. You take the earring. There's a dented lunchbox, but no win there, and a cred stick. Surprisingly, the cred stick is still functional. You slot it in your PDA and 200 new yen is moved to your account. Good. I mean, we're stealing from dead people, as always, but, you gotta make ends meet when you're out here on the streets of Seattle. Checking this place, there's an open vent on the wall too small to fit through, but you might be able to send a drone through to open the door from the other side. Hell yeah, let's send Woogie on through. Your drone fits through the hole, buzzes to the left, and activates the locked door from the inside. Woogie, my man, coming through in a pinch. Or my robot man. Let's see if there's anything in here that we want. Looks like we've got something on a pallet over here. You find a magnetic screwdriver. No clue if that's going to be useful. That screwdriver might be nice to get up and underneath the panel, though, that we saw earlier, so we'll keep that in our pocket. Anything down here? Nope, so let's go back to the panel and see if we can jimmy our way into it. If you send a long movement order, I've noticed this, he sprints. You move quicker and quicker the longer you have to move, so if you've got a long ways to go, make one movement and click as far out in the distance as you possibly can. Let's take a look at this panel. The locked panel becomes easily unscrewed. Lovely, let's see what's up in here for us to peruse. Got an investigative spot next to this bunk over here. It looks like we get an old diary. I don't know how useful that's going to be to us, but I don't even know if that's something we can actually take a look at. So we've got test tube pieces, bar tab receipts, an old diary, the diary of a teenage girl. Maybe that's another item. I don't know. I have no idea how that's going to benefit me. Let's go ahead and get the final item over here. That seems like a lot of work to have run through just to grab a diary that was going to be used in a quest anyways, but maybe we need all of it. I don't really know. She said 2 minimum, and we've already got 2, the earring and the shoe, so we'll check this last cabinet over here. Maybe we get a better result based on how many things we bring along. Inspecting the comb is the only thing left, and as you reach for the comb, the hair on the back of your neck stands on end, and when you take it off its little shelf, your heart thumps in your chest. Hard. This must be one of the items the shaman was looking for. You pocket the comb. So I guess we'll leave there and let's go talk to our shaman friend or our shaman friend. Or our acquaintance at this point. We're not really friends yet. Shannon Halfsky, I bring you thingies. It feels as though you have found enough objects. Yep, here they are. Your hand reaches the objects you have found. She closes her eyes and chants them for a time. Chants over them for a time. When her eyes open again, they're filled with tears. Thank you. These items are all I will need. It shouldn't take me long to... What in the hell is all this? Oh good, McCluskey's here. Officer Guerri trails off after the detective, only meeting your eyes for a moment. She's the victim's sister, sir. This is a crime scene, officer, not some Salish drum circle. Isn't it standard procedure to contact the next of kin? Ma'am, consider yourself contacted. Now get the hell out. Come on, if we stay much longer, I'm liable to do something I'd regret, or worse, something I'd enjoy. So I suppose we're leaving the location. Which leaves us with 5 karma. Lovely. Let's talk to Shannon one last time. And that man is an ass. She stares daggers at McCluskey from across the warehouse. But there's no helping it now. I should just be grateful you were able to collect those items before those claws carted anything off. Can we still summon the spirit? Not from here, I'm afraid. Spirits such as these have domains to which they're anchored. We need to get back in there. Well... Rent-a-cops like these won't tie the place up for long. Agreed. I expect it will be clear by nightfall. You sure you're up for this? It may be a rabbit hole, but I have to get to the bottom of it. Whatever your reasons, I thank you. Now, since we have the time, you should probably enlist some help. They may post security overnight. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you know where to find the people we need. Best money can buy. Good. I'll put up the money if you find the bodies. She gave us 4,000 new yen. Wow. She produces a fistful of crumpled new yen from inside a leather pouch and starts to count it out, but then just ends up shoving the whole wad at you. Meet me back here at midnight. The spirits will be strong then. Okay. And so let's head back to the Seamstress Union. Oh, Coyote pops up in our comm link. She looks tense. Oi, Splattercat, you in the middle of something? Getting jerked around by a Lone Star, same old thing. I hear ya. Her jaw sets. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was born in the Royale. BTL pushers like Stevie J ran in the squats. Ran my world when I was growing up. Sounds nasty. Her brow furrows. It was, for all kinds of reasons. I have a cousin, Gino, who's been missing for months. He hit the sprawl about a year ago and immediately fell in with some tweakers. Bad guys. They hooked him on high-amp dream chips and started using him for all sorts of dreck. I tried to help him, but he pushed me away. Then he disappeared. I've been shooting up BTL labs ever since then trying to find him. I'm guessing you have a new lead. It's not a lead. Her face lights up and she's running hot. She has a serious edge. I know exactly where he is this time. Got an old friend who eyeballed him herself. I'm on my way right now. Paco's with me, but we could use another hand. You in? I need you right now. Alright, on my way. I'm a sucker for friends, so let's do this thing. I knew you'd come. I'll send you the address and see you soon. So that's gonna modify where we're heading out to. But we're out of time for now, so the cluster of dilapidated buildings where Coyote led you to meet her appears to be the remnants of a public housing project. The buildings look like a cesspool filled with human debris. You find her standing with Paco on a street corner, eyeing the roofs, the doorways, and the windows. Despite his attempts to engage her, Coyote barely says a word. As the three of you weave your way through the tenements, she walks purposefully, her new cyber hand flexing open and closed with each step. It's unclear whether the action is voluntary or not. We circle around the back of the building, and Coyote jumps up, grabs the bottom rung of a fire escape ladder, and pulls it down. Without a signal, she starts her climb towards the roof. Paco looks at you worriedly and starts up the ladder. So this is as good a place as any to break off the episode. My name is Splattercat. Thanks for joining me here for Shadowrun Returns, a game that I'm incredibly excited about. I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have been narrating and playing it. I'll see you guys next time, and take care out there, chummers.